Hi guys, so in this Askzenler, what I wanted to do, there's a few questions on Facebook about green screens and people getting sort of ghosting effects and these kind of things. So the most important thing is get a good quality green screen, okay? Should be really nice and green. The other most important thing is obviously a fairly good web camera, and lastly, and this is most important, lighting as well. So make sure that your lighting, if you've got a front light facing you, what's going to happen if the green screen is too close to you is you're going to cast a shadow straight onto it, and that's going to cause an uneven green screen. Now, to prevent that, if you've got to have the green screen close to you, you can put a backlight behind the green screen to light it up and knock back the shadows. Okay, this includes side lights. If you have side lights, again, they will cast a shadow. So you want to try to achieve some sort of natural look that doesn't cast any shadow onto the back of the green screen. The other thing you can do if you've got a really big green screen is you can put the green screen back further, and then as long as you're still in shot, then there'll be less shadow cast, and obviously because you're in focus, the green screen isn't, it will give you a more of a blended background as well. So those are major tips for you guys. So I'm going to jump into my settings. I've got zoom here, so you're just going to see what's happening in my zoom screen. So I'm going to go down to, I've just gone to settings as you saw, and I'm just going to go down to background and filters. So what you're going to see now is my green screen and my little face pop up here. I've just got a screen here in the background, so I'm just going to reposition my webcam a little bit better here. So you can see I'm really nicely kind of working with this. So I'm going to turn this off, and you're going to see my green screen behind me. Look at this. Look at the green screen. No shadow being cast. If I go really close to it, you can see a little bit of a ghosting shadow. Do you see that? The green screen isn't that close behind me. It's probably about sort of maybe I don't know, half a foot or something behind me. So pretty close, and I haven't got anything. Now the lighting setup I've got here is I actually haven't got any lighting on. I've got light coming from a window there. It's coming towards evening. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to shut the blind off in my room, so it goes really dark. Now the webcam I'm using is a Logitech Brio, which is quite sensitive, so we can see any effects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up something like this. This is a nice dark background here, so I'm just going to activate the green screen and just choose one of them, as you can see. So actually it's probably better if I use a white. That gives you the most problems. Now you notice if I do this really quickly, you can sometimes get a little bit of a green cast. If I put it close to the back, I might be able to get some sort of, no I can't, it's trying to get some sort of shadow happening. So you can see I'm really sharp at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the blind down. That's going to darken everything up and hopefully will cause a few errors. So the room's going fairly dark now, but you can see my webcam is really good. Ah, there we go. So there we go. Because I've shut a bit of lighting down there, now you've got this funny thing going on with the back of me, where a kind of shadow is actually, a shadow is being cast onto the green screen because the only lighting that I've got, so I've gone out of focus a bit there. Let me just try and get that back in. Right, it will do it in a minute. There we go. So the only lighting I've got at the moment is my monitor. My monitor is facing me, so it's causing shadow on the back. So this is a problem. So if I go back there, I might be able to get it to go a little bit. It's actually focusing in on the back of the green screen. But if I turn the green screen off now, you should see that shadow? That's what's causing the problem. So, you know, don't just turn your green screen on. You know, turn it off, have a look and see what's going on in the green screen itself. And you can see that's why it's causing this kind of, like, see those shadows? Whereas if I've got, even if I turn my ring light on in front of me, right, that's going to knock it back quite a lot. I've just turned a ring light, I've just got a ring light around the camera, and you can see that's knocked it back. But definitely better is that neutral lighting. So I've caused a problem. So let me just turn this on and see if it's going to go here. I'm going to activate the green screen again, turn this on. So you can see I've got this horrible popping going on, this kind of ghosting effect. So this is entirely due to lighting, and I've mentioned this in the groups, and you know, the person I was actually talking to was saying my lighting's brilliant. You know, my lighting was obviously not, it's not brilliant, because if it was brilliant you wouldn't get these kind of ghosting effects going on. And she said she's got a really good camera as well, so the camera shouldn't be the issue. It can be, sometimes it's good to fix the focus. Now I've got camera settings here, which I think I can bring them up as well just to show you. So I've got my camera settings over here. So I actually go in, what I do is I lock the focus off. So I get myself in focus and I lock it off there. That can help. You can also go in here and you can play around with some of the contrast settings, etc., to knock stuff out. So notice if I bring the contrast up, see all that shadow coming up at the back. Now remember, this is really bad lighting I've got here. It's really, really low lighting. And just by turning that contrast down a little bit, now I've got rid of that shadowing going on. So you can see, and then of course, you know, just to pump a bit more colour in, I can just go in and just increase the colour intensity slightly. And maybe just knock it back a little bit here. And now it's not too bad, even though I'm in complete darkness. So if I turn on my light here, I'm going to go a little bit too coloured now because I've got light on it. So I just turn that back in here and you get it. So I'm now going to I'm now actually going to open up the blind. Let me look at it in there and you'll see the difference. So you saw what was going on there. So there you go, you can see there's a bit of shadow going on. Now, like I said before, if I turn this contrast, you're going to get all this stuff going in. So adding a little bit of contrast in here can really knock it back, and just using a little bit of that color intensity, you can just adjust things so that it makes it look good. Okay, now this is Logitech software. This is Zoom, obviously. This is my Logitech software. So I'm going to open up the blind again. You're going to see that we won't get any of that shadowing going on. So there we go, I've got the blind back open again. So with every time you have a lighting change, you need to have a look at your settings of your webcam. This is really important, but notice that that contrast setting really knocked it back and helped. Now I can really get away with anything now because I've got good lighting going in this, but that looks good to me. And now if I flick my green screen back on, and then I go to one of my background colors like this, I'm going to be nice and sharp, which is what you want. So key points to take away from this is lighting is key. Neutral lighting is key. If you have got a little bit of shadow on the backdrop, just dial down your contrast a little bit inside of your webcam software, okay, and then you should eliminate that. And remember, do your tests by turning off the green screen in Zoom and just check the amount of shadows that you're getting on the back and whether that's going to cause issues. And if you do that, then you're going to get a perfect clip out. Now also remember, my camera is using 1920 by 1080, so I always make sure that my images are 1920 by 1080. This is a big one, okay? Don't go using a really baby small image or anything like that, because otherwise it will look bad. All right, so you need to make sure that you're using the same size as the camera when you're doing your green screen things. Yeah, so all of these are 1920 by 1080, so they all look perfectly sharp here. If you're using something, say this is a 720 width, then this will be pixelated. Okay, so you need to make sure that everything is there. You can see it's one of my friend's 50th birthday party. You can see there, you can do that. So also guys, remember inside Zoom you can also upload a video in there, so you can put video in there, do amazingly good special effects, so that can be cool as well. So the snip out, so make sure you're using your webcam tools, and also like if you've got a different background, you know, you might want to go in and just sort of correct yourself to match that background a little bit as well. You know, either put a bit more colour in, you can dial it right back so you're black and white as well. You could also change the white balance. Now notice what I said about this Brio camera, I tend to lock out the focus so that I don't accidentally go like this and go out of focus, alright? So if you lock it out, so I'm not doing that, I can manually adjust it and I know it's not going to move. So even if I do this, and I come back, I'm going to be in focus when I'm sitting in a neutral position. Autofocus, if you have that on and you come right forwards and then you move back, you end up being blurred for a little bit. So lock out your focus. Definitely, that's a good tip for you guys, so that you won't get this kind of blurring effect. All right, so that's how to set that up and get really sharp, crystal clear Zoom meeting backgrounds on green screens. And yeah, just use those principles. So pretty easy stuff, but if you not do this stuff all the time, then it can be weird. So understand the points I was saying about the lighting. Lighting is really, really key. And also make sure that if you are getting those shadows, that you can adjust the contrast, and you might snip out a lot of that, a lot of those troubly areas. All right, so using those tips, you should be fine.